go. But most people, or considering that most people have very little knowledge about money, what we're going to do in the next couple of minutes is hopefully give them something to think about. Most people think well, the only thing I know about money is they haven't got enough of it. All right, they don't have enough of it. There's a reason for that. Because we have legal tender. That's what it says right here. Legal tender. Legal tender. Okay. Which is here. And then we have lawful money. Well, we just established legal tender is currency, it's paper currency, and we say something lawful money is gold and silver. 1 ounce of gold, 1 ounce of silver, that's lawful money. This is legal tender. But now let's look at our currency here just for a moment. Not only is it design offensive as paper currency, but you'll notice that this has different colored seals on it. A red seal, red serial numbers. Blue seal. Oh, the blue one, let's look at that one for a moment. Let's just say down here, silver certificate. $1 payable to the bearer on demand. That's $1 right there. $1 is 371 1/4 grains of silver. That's the dollar. This is not a dollar. This is a $1 silver certificate. Redeemable originally in the banks for $1 silver dollar. Now we have, of course these are old as you can see there. No serial is a 1 because that's what it is, a 1. Here's a 5, that's a 5. But over here we got a, what's that, a seal? And here's a seal. Let's talk about this currency here for a moment. A, that's the corporate seal of the Federal Reserve of Boston, Mass. If it was Federal Reserve Bank of New York, it was a B. Philadelphia, C, Cleveland, Ohio, a D, and through the alphabet of the 12 Federal Reserve banks. This is a piece of currency owned by the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, who charges us rent to use private currency. This is private currency, this is private currency, this is public currency. Let's talk about public and private. Private is owned by the banks, and we have to pay to use their private currency. But we didn't have to pay the banks a penny to use the silver certificate, and we didn't have to pay the banks to pay. Now I want you close up onto this because that says United States note. So we have private currency, public currency, but the public currency doesn't cost us anything to use because it was printed by our government and spent into circulation. Now I don't know if you can do a close-up on that, but you'll see the date is 1963. In 1963, what happened on November 11th of 1963? Our president was assassinated. And many people believe, and I'm inclined to go along with their thoughts, that the reason President Kennedy was assassinated was because he introduced the United States note, which was backed by silver, to eliminate the national debt that we're paying to the bankers for using their private currency. This is private currency. The bankers only pay about 6 cents for this. So there's a how would you like to buy a $20 bill for 6 cents? That's what the banks pay. Even that's all they pay for a $100 bill. So what are we talking about? Federal Reserve Accounting Unit denominations. That's a denomination. This is a $20 denomination, a $1 denomination. But what does Federal Reserve Accounting Unit denomination really spell? What's the acronym? Fraud. F-R-A-U-D. That's a fraud. These are frauds. So we have lawful money, gold and silver, and legal tender, but this is private and this is public. I think Mr. Kennedy's, one of the first things that Lyndon Baines Johnson did was to remove these from circulation and permit the banks to extort the wealth that they have from we the people. Banks do not produce anything except chaos and confusion. End of my report.
Very good. Excellent.